A Coast Guard swimmer stationed in Corpus Christi received an award during last night's State of the Union. Corpus Christi City Council voted to move forward on several water projects as they look to avoid a curtailment later this year. And 14 counties along the Texas coast receive about $84 million. This is South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday, February 25th. Last night during the State of the Union address, a South Texas hero was honored by President Donald Trump.
Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you.
U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer Petty Officer Second Class Scott Ruskin was awarded the Legion of Merit by the President during Tuesday night's address. Ruskin, an aviation survival technician, is assigned to Coast Guard Air Station Corpus Christi. The military decoration was for his role in rescue efforts during last year's 4th of July weekend flooding in the Texas Hill Country. Ruskin flew alongside Lieutenant Blair Agujafor, Lieutenant Ian Harper, and Aviation Maintenance Technician 3rd Class Seth Reeves. Officials said Ruskin helped rescue more than 160 people during the response and served as the only triage coordinator on scene during portions of the operation. Corpus Christi City Council approved several high-dollar items in Tuesday's meeting. The meeting discussed the financial impact of water projects. Council members voted 5-3 to move forward with negotiating a design-build contract for the Inner Harbor Desalination Project. The plant would mean an average monthly bill increase of about $13 for residential users and $207 for large volume users. The nearly billion-dollar project aims to provide 66 million gallons of water daily to avoid curtailment. Council members Carolyn Vaughn, Mark Scott, Everett Ray, Roland Barrera, and Mayor Paulette Guajardo voted in favor, while Gil Hernandez, Kaylin Paxson, and Sylvia Campos voted against. Councilman Eric Cantu abstained. It was one of several water projects mentioned. Council also approved contract amendments with Pape Dawson Engineers for construction management and inspection services related to the Evangeline San Patricio County Groundwater Program. The amendment with Pape Dawson Engineers will add about $13 million for construction management and inspection services. An amendment for the city's construction manager at risk contract with Garney Companies. Council also approved a contract with FCC Aquilia U.S. Corp. for $43.5 million toward a containerized brackish water desalination plant. The item also authorized contracts for a pump station and conveyance system connecting the Western Well Field to the Owen Stevens Water Treatment Plant. That would be about $11 million in construction contracts for ancillary improvements, along with emergency construction contracts totaling about $120 million. Council also approved a $7 million construction contract to Barcom Construction, Inc. of Corpus Christi for upgrades to the Greenwood Sports Complex that is home to several youth sports leagues. That project will include improvements to fields, buildings, lighting, and other minor upgrades with funding from bonds 2018, 2020, 2022, and 2024. The City of Victoria celebrated the opening of its new public safety headquarters today. 25 News Now reports the building is already operational. City Manager Jesus Garza said the facility will consolidate multiple departments under one roof, including the Police Department, Fire Administration, Municipal Court, and the Fire Marshal's Office. It's also the first new police department facility in 60 years. The Texas General Land Office, or GLO, has awarded about $84 million to 14 coastal counties. Commissioner Buckingham made the announcements during presentations held in Corpus Christi and Brownsville. The funding from the GLO aims at protecting and strengthening Texas's about 400-mile coastline. Among those receiving funds, Texas A&M University Corpus Christi will get $1.2 million for water quality projects. Coastal Bend Bays and Estuaries program received about $4.3 million for projects in Aransas, Refugio, Matagorda, and Nueces counties. The city of Rockport received $3.3 million for a wetlands enhancement project and a stormwater retrofit, and the University of Texas Marine Science Institute received over $1.5 million to support the Amos Rehabilitation Keep and other projects in Nueces County. A proposed West Texas border wall is getting more opposition. KEDT's Joe Smikle has the details.
A border wall being proposed for the Big Bend area of West Texas is getting some pushback from elected officials and residents. Some of the area the U.S. Customs and Border Protection intends to build its barrier includes small communities, ranch land, as well as a state and national park. 28 laws for environmental protection were waived by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to hurry construction in more than 150 miles of West Texas property. $46.5 billion were appropriated for the wall's construction, and no region will be spared. despite border crossings through the Big Bend area is much lower than other areas. Many officials in the path of the proposed wall have voiced concerns about the project and its effects on the region. For KEDT News, this is Joe Smikle.
Local officials are speaking out against plans for border wall building. Greg Hennington is the top elected official in Brewster County, where the park's located.
This is devastating potentially to our tourism or economics. Goes on and on. It's an insane idea.
Hennington, a Republican, says local officials are united in opposing any wall building in their county. He says county commissioners are planning to vote on a resolution opposing the idea in the coming weeks. And heart disease remains the leading cause of death for women. Underdiagnosis is a major reason. In this segment of the KERA series Vital Signs, Dr. Katie Fetton tells Sam Baker heart disease doesn't present the same way for men and women.
A lot of the cardiovascular studies were done in men, so the crushing substernal chest pain, the elephant on the chest, is how men present. Women are a little more subtle. They have fatigue, they have shortness of breath, they might have some back pain. So overarchingly, because of these subtle symptoms, women have to truly be aware that something is going on and have to advocate for themselves in the process.
But we're so far advanced in diagnostic technology. Shouldn't we be beyond this?
We should. I absolutely agree with you. And I do think that some of the technology, such as calcium scoring and some of the less invasive aspects of care, have caused us to advance a bit. But I think we still need to get the women in the door, start worrying about their own health, stop putting themselves last and everybody else first, and actually actively advocating for themselves in the process, because you still need to walk in the door to have those tests done.
So then you need to be very much aware of the early signs and what they are.
And I think increasing awareness is one of those things that is incredibly important, and really focusing on what women may experience. There's something called a silent heart attack that a woman may experience. So indigestion, flu-like symptoms, sort of a strained muscle of the upper back and chest, maybe some discomfort in the jaw, but it is truly a sign of a heart attack. Just because it is silent doesn't mean the blood flow isn't decreasing to the heart muscle. So it's really, truly still an emergency, but it could be silent, and a woman could just be feeling a little off.
Does a delayed diagnosis, though, does that affect the likelihood and or success of surgery?
Well, it does delay diagnosis. Now, depending on how much damage has been done to the heart muscle, that sort of depends on the risks moving forward with surgery. So if the squeeze of the heart or the ejection fraction is still normal on that left side, oftentimes, even if some damage has been done, there's no increased risk with surgery. I think the risks do increase, though, as soon as you have a lower ejection fraction, or what we call heart failure. And so it's all about finding the issues in a timely manner so that we can then move forward and sort of address them before it becomes an issue.
Tell me about something, some call it SCAD, some call it spontaneous coronary artery dissection.
Yeah, so spontaneous coronary artery dissection is a disease state that impacts women more often than men. It is essentially a tear in the artery that supplies the blood to the heart. And it is something that is a challenge to manage. It often requires a multidisciplinary approach. Now, we've been pretty successful with that. We had a woman recently who suffered SCAD, then ended up on some support, so an Impella device, which was a mechanical support device, then ended up utilizing a left ventricular assist device. And then after stabilization, we were able to get her to heart transplantation. And she's done remarkably well with this. And I think that kind of demonstrates what we can do when we work together in a multidisciplinary fashion, and how far heart care really has come at this point.
Dr. Katie Fetton is a cardiothoracic surgeon at Baylor Scott and White, Dallas. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.